Less than 100 days now until F1 races into Las Vegas, transforming the Strip into a racetrack, and less than 200 days until the Super Bowl arrives in our city for the first time. Tens of thousands of people will come from around the country and around the world for those two major sporting events. But so too will those looking to profit from human trafficking, along with those who they sell. In order to stop these crimes and help survivors, local nonprofits are preparing now.
We just want to be as prepared as possible if there is an influx.
Signs of Hope is a nonprofit organization dedicated to those impacted by sexual violence and exploitation. They operate a 24/7 crisis hotline and provide hospital response for sexual assault victims. Volunteers serve as their advocate and their support system. Given the scope and scale of F1 and the Super Bowl, the organization recognized the need to ramp up and modify plans. During the days prior to and during these events, trained volunteers will be embedded with Metro to facilitate the fastest possible response to reports of human trafficking, offering survivors help and hope.
And any and all emergency services that they may need at that moment.
They have teamed up with the Southern Nevada Human Trafficking Task Force, which is made up of law enforcement and other groups. For the last several months, the two organizations have been actively planning, training, and preparing to address human trafficking situations that may arise during the events. Though volunteer advocates have worked and trained with officers from Metro for years for other large events.
We work with the Vice Section and the Special Investigation Units for human trafficking.
Signs of Hope will also provide a first responder 24/7 hotline for use by law enforcement, provide on-scene crisis response, coordinate, train, and educate appropriate event staff and volunteers on human trafficking, and serve as the main point of contact for all resources, support, services, and referrals. And if you would like to volunteer to help during these events, their Advocate University starts this week. We have a link to sign up or learn more on our website, fox5vegas.com. In addition to emergency response, Signs of Hope also provides long-term services to survivors of all forms of human trafficking.